Hello, thank you for joining me for how to get ready for your new puppy. I'm Leah Morse, and I'm a certified canine behavior consultant, dog trainer, certified behavior therapist, and trick instructor. I'm dedicated to all things dog and to being true advocate for both people and their dogs. I've seen a lot of great successes when puppies first come home, and I've seen some disasters. So the purpose of this video is to help avoid as many disasters as we can. Puppy will be coming home soon. Now what? There's quite a few things to consider. What does it mean to be prepared for our puppy? Everybody sees that cute puppy. We're all just so excited about getting new puppy. A lot of people have puppy-itis and haven't had one in a while. And hopefully you think about things before you bring new puppy home and avoid a spontaneous puppy purchase. There's a lot of things to consider for a great experience with your new puppy. What equipment are you going to need? Where is puppy going to stay or sleep? You need to understand confinement options. What are you going to feed puppy? It's also important to know what the breeder or the rescue is feeding puppy. Where will you feed the puppy in your home? What food bowls, water bowls are you going to use? Where will puppy eliminate? Inside, outside, or both? When should socialization begin? When should training begin? How much time will be needed for puppy daily? What veterinarian are you going to use? Where will puppy stay if you need to go out of town? And what about grooming? A lot of things to think about with grooming. In the very least, we need to have a 6-foot leash. Please, no retractable leads. Puppies should not get more than 6 feet away from you anyway. And retractable leads teach puppies to pull. We need a collar for ID and an ID tag with your phone number and any other contact information and puppy's name. Even if they're microchipped, most people don't have a microchip reader. You'll get your puppy back faster if you have a phone number and your name on your puppy. We need a harness for walking, food and water bowls, crate and or a puppy playpen. I really like it if you can do both. Puppy pee pads, proper food, grooming tools. Let's get puppy-oriented grooming tools to start them off with. A slicker brush is way too harsh for puppy skin. We need something soft. Get a toothbrush and some doggy enzymatic toothpaste made for dogs. We need an enzymatic cleaner for accidents in the house. And we need toys and recreational chew items. If you have lifestyle-specific needs, such as you're going to be traveling and taking puppy on the plane, we need to make sure we procure a travel kennel and get puppy used to that well before the days that we're going to take those trips. We'll also need to make sure that we need any appropriate sweaters or coats if we live in a cold area. Puppy skin is very tender and they usually don't have the fur necessary to keep them warm even on just cooler days. Where will puppies sleep or stay? Confinement is not jail. Confinement keeps puppies safe, keeps your home safe, helps with house training. There are a lot of good reasons to consider confinement, your peace of mind being at the top of the list. If we have no way of confining puppy, you are going to be 24/7 running around behind your puppy to prevent accidents, to prevent destruction, to prevent puppy from chewing on cords. Confinement is going to give you great peace of mind. I love the picture of the little Great Dane on the padded folding chair. She had had enough from her lesson and her mom and I were still talking through it, and she found herself a place up there nice and soft for her to relax. I'm not against puppies being on furniture. so long as their owners are not against them being on furniture. If they are, we teach them to stay off. However, crates and pens are going to be a part of your puppy's life. They'll be in confinement in the vet's office or in boarding or even at the groomers. Planning now may save you in the long run. This is a specific picture of my 18-month-old Legend who's passed sadly. But when he was 18 months old, we had too much trust in him, and this is the mess we came home to. Confinement is your friend. It is not the end of the world for your puppy. The ever important house training. This is a tedious task that takes daily attention. Before puppy comes home, we need to figure out where are we going to teach puppy to eliminate. Are you going to have pee pads in the inside? Is there going to be an outside area? If you take them outside, is there a specific area that you only want them to go? Are they going to do both? How will you teach your puppy to indicate the need to go? There are jingle bells and there are wireless doorbells for dogs, or some people are okay with barking or scratching. However, please keep in mind that if we allow barking as an indicator, any other barking is going to be harder to eliminate because we have one instance where it's acceptable. Also, where are you going to put puppy's waste when they eliminate? We want to make sure we have poop bags necessary. Poop bags are a necessity. Even if your puppy eliminates outside and you have a pooper scooper, poop bags are great to have because you're going to take puppy somewhere. We definitely want to have a supply of those. I like keeping a metal can specifically only for that I line with a trash bag. Then when it's trash day, we combine all the trash and it's out the door. We need to have lots of patience and praise. House training is a process. Eliminating in the house is not the way a puppy gets back at us. They're simply fulfilling a need. It's uncomfortable to have a full bladder. It feels better when we relieve ourselves. So if there's an accident, it is really your fault, not puppy's. You need to keep your eye on them all the time or they need to be in confinement. Where will you feed puppy and how? It comes back to those food bowls again. I highly recommend that we do ceramic bowls and stainless steel. Plastic can be a problem with keeping it sanitized. However, I do love the rubber Kongs. Rubber Kongs, the brand Kong is made in the United States, and they are a fabulous way to feed your puppy. There is a protocol to help teach your puppy how to eat out of one of these, but they increase the duration of the meal, which is going to help us use up the puppy's energy as well as give them a brain workout. I love food puzzle toys. We also want to figure out where are we going to feed the puppy. I like feeding in the crates or the pen. It makes that be a little bit more desirable to be in there because they are going to be expecting to eat in there along with some good recreational toys. These are just some different ideas. Glass bowls are okay. However, they're a little more fragile than the crock bowls. I love metal bowls. They are my favorite. They're durable and they're sanitizable and they're not typically breakable. When should we socialize? This is a pet peeve for me. According to the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior, the first 3 months of life, because the first 3 months of life are the period when sociability outweighs fear. This is the primary window of opportunity for puppies to adapt to new people, animals, and experiences. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior are veterinarians that specialize in behavior. Now, with that said, we don't want to go to the dog park. I don't necessarily recommend that we go to the pet store and get put on the pet store there. until we've been fully vaccinated. However, I'm okay with puppies playing with other healthy, vaccinated, dog-friendly animals or other dogs. They need to be able to hone their canine communication skills, or in the very least, they need to be in the presence of other dogs in a positive way. Very important to do this well before the 16-week mark, which most puppies are done with their vaccinations by 16 weeks. When we start socialization after that socialization period closes, it's much more difficult. When should training begin? As soon as possible. Every puppy I've ever picked up, I literally almost start training them as we're on our way home. The last puppy we went out of state to get, and on our way back, even in the hotel room the first night, I started training. First thing I love new puppies to know is how to sit, and then we expect to sit before being picked up. This often helps keep jumping up away. Puppies can learn at a very young age. How much time will be taken up by my puppy? It can be a full-time job. Think having a toddler. They need to either have confinement when you can't be there with them, or if they're not confined, you need to be with them and showing them what's acceptable and what is not, what is dangerous and what is not. Again, the socialization, I vet anybody who is going to be handling or interacting with my puppy to make sure that they're dog friendly. Potty training, managing the feeding times, managing the training, making sure that they're also learning to self-entertain. All of these things are important to do on a daily basis. With that said, every pup has a cup of energy. If we think of their energy as being like a cup of tea, we've got to get that teacup emptied. They need help appropriately allocating their energy through training, which training and learning use twice as much energy as actual physical activity. But we do need to play with them and teach them how to use all of their different toys. We need to get them walking and socializing. Again, I love the feeding food puzzle toys. Sleeping with enough rest is also a good thing to help manage energy. Puppies can get out of sorts when they're overly tired. Eliminating on a regular schedule, some puppies can become hyperactive as an indicator that I got to do something, but I'm not really sure how to tell you yet. And even if they're ringing a bell or telling you, sometimes I've often seen puppies get cantankerous when they have to eliminate in some way. Again, teaching and learning expends a lot of energy. Please teach your puppy. Cultivate self-entertainment with your puppy. Help them to have new things and give them good times of being alone. Gradual at first and then longer and longer times. When they can entertain themselves, we really do a good job at keeping that separation anxiety away. Learning that being alone sometimes is okay. On the subject of playing, we want to have a variety of toys, different textures, different uses. Yes, of course, we want to get some balls for fetching and some tug toys and some stuffies and just different things. You can get toys that make noise, toys that move by themselves. And with your little dogs, don't be limited to little toys. Some of those little dogs love having toys as big as themselves to rip around with. Very important. Who's your veterinarian going to be? We want to get that puppy into the vet as soon as you get puppy, even if they went to the vet through the breeder or rescue organization. You want to have your own veterinarian have eyes and hands on your puppy as soon as possible. And with that said, we want to set up a socialization system where maybe we go for a weekly visit to the vet clinic for just a wait and a cookie and get out of there, to help socialize puppy to good experiences, because we shouldn't just have experiences that include vaccinations, being poked and prodded, or having a surgery. Have conversations with your local friends and neighbors and see who they use. Choosing your veterinarian is very important. You'll want to choose one that has a personality that meshes well with yours. Same for groomers. Who's going to groom the puppy? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be a professional groomer? Even before puppy sees the groomer for the first time, there are so many things that we can do to help their first grooming experience be not quite as alarming. Exposing them to different implements in a kind way, in a non-threatening way, is really going to help your puppy. If you have a doodle or a terrier or a shih tzu and they're going to need to have clippers and all sorts of grooming, the first grooming appointment is not the time to get them used to these tools. Please have a set of clippers that runs on a table next to them, or play the recording of that, or set up an appointment with a groomer that is willing to just have a meet and greet with your puppy, where they can just be on the table getting treats, and maybe we run the clippers for a couple minutes, and maybe we hear what scissors sound like when they're snipping. Maybe not even necessarily on the puppy, but we want to introduce them in a positive manner to what it's like to hear and experience all the grooming implements that are going to be used for puppy. I will usually get a soft puppy brush and even use the back of the brush to start with until puppy's used to being touched by something else other than a human hand. Either way, whatever your style is going to be, whether you are going to brush your puppy or groom your puppy, or you're going to have a professional person help you, desensitizing them and socializing them to grooming equipment is extremely important. The same with brushing their teeth. Just get a toothbrush with some doggy toothpaste on it and let your puppy lick it off and just chew on the brush to start with. Yes, eventually it's good to have brushing happen, but if you get an enzymatic doggy toothpaste, a lot of times it gets in the mouth and does a lot of the work all on its own. Training needs to start as soon as possible. I cannot stress this enough. As soon as your puppy gets home. I always recommend at least 3 sets in the first 2 years of life. So some sort of puppy kindergarten between 8 and 20 weeks. And then we want to do another set of training between 6 and 12 months. And then another set of training between 12 and 18 months. This will get you through adolescence. This will help you have a well-rounded set of training, especially if you're working with a professional trainer. I'm happy to help you. I can do that in-home if you're in Central Florida, or virtually from anywhere. The first 2 years of life, though, we want to make sure that we get a lot of training accomplished. 6 weeks of puppy class is not going to get you that perfectly trained dog. We have to get through adolescence. There's a lot of things your puppy is going to experience. There's some fear periods that we need to work on avoiding. Please, please get your puppy started on training as soon as possible and set up a good training agenda. Who will care for your puppy if you must leave for a while? Do you have a doggy daycare? Do you have a specific boarding place in mind, or do you want your veterinarian to board them? Some veterinarians will, some won't. Are you going to get a pet sitter? We need to have these things all decided out before we get puppy, because you never know what life hands us, and having to find something in a pinch is not always going to be as desired. We need to puppy-proof that home. I'm going to talk about confinement again. Teaching your puppy to accept being crated or in a puppy playpen is going to save your house. Investing in a good playpen for $100 is a lot better than having to buy $1,000 couch or replace a door or what have you, or an obstruction surgery. That little dachshund down there that's torn up something, they swallow those things, and obstruction surgeries are extremely expensive. Confinement is your friend. Do not give your puppy too much freedom, but puppy-proof your house. Your puppy is not going to be able to decide what is good and what is not good for them. Meet your puppy's needs, but do not be ruled by your puppy. Puppies live in our world. We do not live in their world. But we do want to make sure that we take care of all of their core needs: training, play, walking, socialization, feeding, making sure they get enough sleep, making sure that they get out to eliminate properly and teaching them where to eliminate, teaching them all about life and protecting them from danger. We've got to be proactive, anticipate your puppy's needs, and avoid waiting for a puppy to ask. Demanding behavior is very annoying, and puppies are really, really good at turning that training around on us because they're very cute and we want them to love us, which all puppies love us anyway. But we want to ignore demanding behavior with no engagement. Again, start training as soon as possible. Provide a variety of experiences appropriately, but also provide routine. Randomize activities and their times, especially feeding times. So, for instance, what I do is I feed my puppy sometime between 7 and 9 a.m. every morning. I pick different times. I never have it be exactly at the same time because I do not want to program that biological clock. She gets fed between 4 and 6 in the evening as well. If you feed at the exact same time every day, you will program a biological clock, and that puppy will start telling you earlier and earlier and earlier that feeding time is coming up. We also want to provide benevolent leadership. This is different than being the pack leader. I want to make sure that that is very clear. You are the provider of resources. You provide the food, the water, and the shelter, and access to toys. You provide access to inside and outside, and affection. I use all of these in real life rewards. This is how we get away from treats and food training. Food training speeds training up because food is a primary reinforcer. But we can use all of these desired resources as real life training rewards in the future. Other things to consider. How big is your puppy going to get? How much strength? How much strength do you have? Do you need to get into a strength building program? Is your puppy going to be large? What is your puppy's breed or longevity? Where will puppy be through life? Where will I be through the life of my puppy? Where will my puppy go if something happens to me? And should I get vet insurance? And which company or plan is right for me? Vet insurance anymore for vet bills is becoming increasingly more necessary. Vet bills are exploding in cost, and some of that is because our veterinary clinics have incorporated the high-tech equipment that human medicine uses, and they are expensive, which makes healthcare much better for our puppies, but that money does have to come from somewhere. So I highly recommend researching both pet insurance companies and which plan might be right for you. Again, talk to friends and neighbors and get their feedback about what they are using, but also make sure you do your own research. Above all, please enjoy your puppy. Puppies are so wonderful and fun. They can be annoying, but they are so fun. There's a reason that we all get them. Please train your puppy daily. Have kind compassion and patience. There are going to be good days and bad days. Know your puppy will be a puppy for up to 2 to 3 years. Please plan accordingly. Bigger dogs are going to mature more slowly. Little dogs usually mature more quickly. Either way, adolescence is usually pretty uncomfortable at times and sometimes downright aggravating. So just make sure that we have realistic expectations and we grow our patience. Thank you for learning how to get ready for your puppy with me. Being prepared for your new puppy is imperative for a great start. Thinking about all we have covered in this presentation before you get your puppy will help to minimize stress and, more importantly, help your puppy adjust to life with you. This is a traumatic event for them, even though they win the auto lottery with you. They left everything they knew behind them. Please be compassionate that they are babies and will have to learn about life with you. If you would like more information, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is my email, leahstrinity9@gmail.com. My website is at www.trinityk9.rocks. You can also use my QR code to find me. I'm happy to help you. Please like this video and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate all of my subscribers. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope you enjoy your new puppy. Itty, catch it. Good girl. Got it.